I can't get this on because of the thickness of my wallet.
Saturday morning, we're in Lancashire, surrounded by rallying people. It doesn't get much better, does it?
No, it's great to be home, yeah, and this is going to be a fun day, yeah. And I think there's a good chance we won't get lost today.
Well, a very good chance, because this man is going to navigate you around the legend that is Ian Grindrod. Ian, tell me a little bit about this event, because it's a bit of an institution in this part of the world.
It is now. It's to commemorate a fellow member of the 2300 Club, Andy Mowat, who sadly was killed on the Tour of Mull some years ago now. And since we handed over the running of the Tour of Mull to the Mull Car Club and we're not involved anymore, this is really our only event now. But, you know, it's important to us to remember Andy. And everybody enjoys the day. It's very, very relaxed.
The Chevette, this is a special car. Tell me a little bit about this one.
It was driven by Jimmy McRae in the day, but it was also driven by Bill Gwynn in the Motoring News Championship for many years. So Ian found the car for me. It was actually in Ireland in a barn, one of those typical barn finds. And essentially what happened was we bought it and restored it back to its original glory.
Looks and sounds magnificent. Now,
yeah, what about the driver though?
You look and sound magnificent as well.
It might not be after this goes in.
Ian, tell me just very briefly a little bit about the format today as well. It's a road rally. Now, how does today's format work?
Today's format, there's no timing at all. We drive around the route. If we're lucky enough to find the route. There's a number of checkpoints that are marshalled. We get a signature, and off we go down to the next one. It's 135 miles, but all classic road rally roads from the past. With Steve being a resident of the USA now, I just hope he remembers to drive on the left.
Well, I'm sure you'll shout loud enough.
I will, certainly will.
Apparently I was enjoying myself too much.
How did it feel in the car this morning? Fit and healthy and all ready to go?
Car's awesome. Ian Gwynn told me it was relatively easy to drive, which it is. I did run out of talent in a few places on some steep hills, but nothing drastic. Ian's stories during the day made time fly, put it that way, you know. And I looked at the scenery, but I was listening intently and enjoying some of rally history, which is hard to repeat. It's amazing.
We've had a great time this morning, and we've never stopped talking to each other. We've had stories about our parents, and stories about our childhood, and stories about how we started our working lives, and a few stories about rally people.
You're still very much a man in demand. You're a man in demand, obviously for your talents with this type of rallying, but also for the stories you've got to tell. There's stories that we just don't generate in rallying these days. There was, maybe because it was such an adventure, not so many years ago.
I think you've hit the nail on the head. It was an adventure. So if let's say Jim and I were wrecking in Greece, we'd pitch up at some hotel. A good example is the Calafati in Itea.
Yeah, we were there the other week.
There you go. We'd go in there, and then we'd find the likes of Hanu and Arnie would be there, and Marco and Kivimaki would be there, and you'd all sit down together and have dinner. We spotted a bottle of Glava on the shelf one day, Jim and I. So we came to the end of the meal, and Jim said, "Shall we put some Glava on the ice cream?" And this Glava was covered in cobwebs. It had been there years. And during the course of the evening, with us and the Finns and that, and I think Björn Voldegaard was there then, they all would have to have some of this Glava, and in the course of the evening the bottle was emptied.
Steve, you've come a long way for this event. Was it everything you hoped it would be?
Oh, and more. It's fabulous. Car was awesome. Company was even better. You sit next to a rally icon who you watched in the forest in the day, and you get the opportunity to spend a day with Ian and in a car that, even though I don't think Ian spent much time in the Chevettes during his days, but you know, he spent a lot of time with Jimmy McRae, who was obviously the driver of this car in the day. Pretty darn awesome.
Ian, how was your driver today? You know, did he do the car justice?
Absolutely he did, absolutely. And I was actually worried before the start that the car might be too difficult to drive, because they're not the easiest things to drive, rally cars, but it was perfect, the car, and Steve was perfect too. So it was pretty good actually. The style of driving that was required today on this event, Steve was perfect for it. I don't think I'd want to go at 120 mile an hour down a Delby straight with him.
Reasonable.
His judgment has improved with age.
We can only thank the guys that organise this event each year. It was a tremendous route and helped by the weather, of course, because we could see the wonderful scenery. Thankfully, the gods shone down on us. Andy Mort must have been looking down on us, I think.
We really do have to focus back on road rallying, and we really do need to encourage to get people back out there, because it's a great way to start, I think, you know, and it doesn't have to be in a top-of-the-line car, which we're fortunate, even though it's a vintage car, you know, we're fortunate to use today. You can start, you know, pretty low budget and go out and have fun. And I think the social side of this is amazing. The friendship side of this is amazing. It's a community, it's a family, and people do help each other. Yes, competition, but we all know, because we've been around it for so many years, that people work together.